Welcome back. So let's just try and have a look at what we want to do. And there's a lot of images here, I know. Well, let me just try and explain them to you. Now, we're going to focus on this area right now as the developers. That's kind of where we're going to start up, because we need to know how we write TypeScript code, how we write HTML and CSS code, and how we use the Ionic Framework combined with Angular, right, inside some kind of development environment. And we're going to use the integrated development environment called Webstorm. So we're also going to have to install and work with Webstorm, and that's kind of our text editor, but it's a text editor on steroids, right? It can do so much more than just write text. It can help you autocomplete code. It can help you kind of give you information if you're writing the code in the good way or bad way. It can do so much more than just actually writing text. So that's kind of why it's an integrated development environment. It has more information than the normal text editor do. So we're going to have to learn all of this and write some code to even get started here. Now we are going to write this code, and then we're going to try and actually use it. When we have the code ready, we're going to try and show it first just on a simple deployment on your Android or iOS app, just inside what we call an emulator, just showing it running in an emulator. And when we feel that something is running, we're going to try and compile it into a real Android app. So we're going to try and convert this into a real, first we're going to try with Android, we can try with iOS later. We're going to convert it into an APK, that's an Android app, and then we're going to try and deploy that on a real physical device. So you can sit on your Android app and actually click around and do stuff. And what? It works on a real physical device. Hooray! And when we're done with that, then we're going to actually try and expand the application so we can start getting data from, so saving and storing data right on the wire. We're going to start out by getting some data from a real REST API somewhere in the cloud. And I have some pretty cool humor APIs you can play around with, like getting Chuck Norris quotes and stuff like that. And we're going to try and show that on the application, and then we're going to, when we feel that is running, try again and emulate it on the device, trying to compile it and actually show it really on the physical device. And then if you guys want to spend a bit money, then you can actually go and say, well, everything is running, we have this, we can now grab data and show it on our device for real. Sweet, we want to now deploy this again to a real APK. We're going to try and test it again on a physical device, and when the physical device actually works, we're going to try and do a real deployment on the real cloud solution up here on the App Store, right? Then a real customer can go and grab it for his device and again start working with the actual real device we just made. Yay! That's kind of the goal of this, and that's what we're going to build. So you guys are going to hopefully start out by making simple apps, trying to deploy them locally on the screen, just like we're seeing right here, trying to put them on physical devices, trying to grab data from real REST API, and in the end, if everything works, try and deploy it to an app store somewhere. So that's kind of the goal, and we're just going to start out by setting all of this up, preparing us for actually making our first application. See you next time. Have fun.